So you've been searching for happiness and you just can't find it? Well, stick around. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly where you should be looking. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Kevin, back for yet another video. And today I want to talk to you about happiness. If you've been around my channel for a little while, you know that my videos are meant to motivate you, inspire you, and help you achieve the best version of you. So in that same vein, I want to talk to you about something that we all are striving to find in our lives, and that's happiness. Now, let me give you some context to where this came from. I was scrolling through social media the other day, as I do, sitting on my couch having my morning cup of coffee, and I came across this quote by Denzel Washington, and it said, "Beware of destination addiction. The idea that happiness is in the next place, the next job, or even with the next partner. Until you give up the idea that happiness is somewhere else, it will never be where you are." Now, when I first read this, I had to take a step back and put my coffee cup down and really let this digest. And then it was like mind blown, just fire in my hand, something that I never really put into these exact words. And I thought to myself that I had to sort of create this video and share this with you. And I'm going to give you the goods right now. You don't need to wait till the very end to find out what the secret sauce about happiness is. It just said it right here, that until we give up the thought that happiness is in the next place, it'll never be where we are. And that tells me that we have to spend more time looking at our current situation, looking at where we are right now to understand where our happiness is. Now, I think for a lot of people, there's generally three areas in their life where they really are looking for happiness. And it's with a relationship, it's with a partner, it's in their job, or it's in their finances. And I know that there are many, many other areas in life that happiness applies to and where people might look for happiness. But those are three that I want to touch on in this video. Now let's look at relationships for a second. And perhaps you may have had this situation in your own personal life. And if you have, well, then I want to hear about it in the comments below if this resonates with you. So in relationships, we sometimes are at odds with the person that we're with. If we've been with them for a long time, we have some issues, some personal, internal dilemmas in the relationship, and we start to look further out for who the next person might be instead of focusing on the issues at hand in that relationship. Now, before I get roasted in the comments, I know that there are some issues in relationships you just can't and don't want to try to negotiate through, like abuse and stuff like that. But I'm talking about generally the relationship is rocky and you start to look elsewhere for somebody else. Or maybe perhaps it's someone that you just met online. You know, you've seen some pictures, you're on Tinder or Bumble or whatever app you use these days, and you start talking to someone and you feel excited. You got the warm butterflies in your stomach and you enjoy talking to this person very, very much. And then you decide to meet up, and it can be days, weeks, months later. You decide to meet up, and you meet this person, and they're a little bit shorter than you thought they were going to be, or perhaps they're a little bit chubbier than you thought they were, or that they looked in their pictures. And although you were happy speaking with this person and getting to know them, this now little, quite honestly, rather minor thing is now causing you to decide to look somewhere else. Because perhaps if you could find someone that is just as good as them, but just in a slimmer or taller body, then you would be happy. And what you end up doing is finding yourselves more frustrated because you're spending time again getting to know someone new and meeting them and going through that whole circus when you could have been happy with the person that was there. Now let's take jobs for a second. The fact that we spend at least half of our waking hours on the job, doing our work, the thing that pays our bills, you probably want to be happy in that environment as well. Now, I'm not talking about having a beef with your boss or just not liking the assignment that you've been given. We're talking about genuinely just being unhappy with the job that you're at. Now, what happens, I find, in the beginning is many people we're so focused on the money aspect that we're willing to take a higher paying job that actually gives us less satisfaction than finding a job that pays us a little less, but would actually make us much more happy and much more satisfied. And so we spend our days thinking and working towards what the next job is going to be rather than being thankful for the fact that we have the job that we do. There's an unemployment line somewhere around your neighborhood that has people in it. Things are virtual these days, so maybe they're online, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, they don't have jobs and you do. And so we spend so much more time yakking and complaining about what we don't like about a job rather than being thankful and happy for what we have. You can always change it later. If you don't like your job, just be the best that you can be at it until you can find something that you actually enjoy to do. Now, for money, a lot of people, and including myself when I was younger, you'd say things like, if I just had X amount of dollars, if I just had $10,000, if I had $30,000, I would be so happy. And then you start to realize that there are people who have all kinds of money, millionaires, billionaires, who unfortunately end up committing suicide. And I know it's a bit of a dramatic stretch between being happy and suicide. But the parallel to it is the fact that money doesn't give you happiness. People are happy when they have money, but it doesn't give you happiness. There's an extreme difference between the two. Now, here's my other thought. If you can't manage the $1,000 in your bank account, what makes you think you'll be happy and be able to manage the $10,000 in your bank account? If you've ever been to the Caribbean or in other places of the world where one can argue that their lifestyle isn't as glamorous as what we have here in, say, North America or in other parts of the world. But I will tell you, you find some of the most happiest people in places where they don't have as much as we have. Now, why is that? And I think it's because they've learned to just make do with what they have. And we think that we need all this money and all this rich fame and success and overabundance in order to be happy. And the reality is we need to be happy with what we have, and we need to also be able to work within our means. The reason why you're not happy probably with the money you have is because you're living beyond your means. Now, this is no shade to anybody that has extenuating circumstances that lead to them having less money, being less fortunate, or anything like that. I'm not trying to sit here and say that anyone's at fault for the money that they have or don't have. But what I'm saying is that many times we could be much happier if we just become comfortable with a little. Now, I'm not going to go as far as, being a minimalist, although I think some of those ideas are really cool. The fact is that we live so much beyond our means that it makes us unhappy. And if we can just only wrap our head around actually maintaining what we have, being content with what we have, we might, just might, I'm quite confident it's a big might, but we just might actually be much better off. And I got a question for you. What is it, or who is it, that you're looking towards to make you happy? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it a particular job or job status? Is it anything? Is it a material possession? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. I'd love to dialogue with you in the comments. And so please, if you like this video as well, definitely share it, like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.